One of the biggest mistakes new real estate agents make is learning with clients' money because nobody taught them the basics. They didn't have a mentor, they didn't document conversations, they didn't have the discipline, they are unclear about the asset class that they're selling, and they're oversharing information in negotiation. These are all things that I've noticed over the years that separate agents who actually build careers from ones who actually flame out and end up in front of the professional standards committee. But the good news is the successful good agents aren't necessarily smarter than you or anybody else I just spoke about. They're just a little bit more disciplined about some of the most boring things that are very easy to skip through the process. I remember when I got in this business, which is actually over 13 years ago now, how unprepared I felt. Did you know it takes less time to become a real estate agent than it does to actually become a hairdresser in many instances? I got licensed at the end of 2012, and I was shocked at how unprepared I was for this business after doing the courses. When you get your license as a brand new real estate agent, they tell you to obviously do a police check, but then start interviewing brokerages, which I think is crazy. Agents literally call around to brokerages, say, hey, what can you offer me? What's your training? What are your split plans? Can you send me leads? And the brokerages are pitching them to join them because the brokerage business is usually about agent count, right? Brokerages are more in the agent hiring business than they are necessarily on the real estate sales side of the business. I think brand new agents need to actually have some sort of apprenticeship program in place and some sort of oversight into the offers they're writing and the advice that they're giving before they are let loose on the public. But here we are. This is how it currently works right now. The whole point of this video is to help some newer agents or even experienced agents that were poorly trained understand what they can do to be an absolute professional at their craft, avoid litigation, and washing out of this business super quick. So the first thing I'll mention is exactly what I said under the apprenticeship. What type of real estate do you want to transact? Where do you want to transact it? And are you aligned with somebody who understands that asset class and can teach and coach you properly? Very first thing when I got licensed is I started looking for mentors. Could not find any locally that were operating to the level that I wanted to operate on. So I went outside of my city. I did a lot of work on a lot of deals for not a lot of money so that I could learn how to do those types of transactions. I did a lot of work in the commercial and the investing space, and I gave up a lot of my commissions so that I could trade it for knowledge. You have three things in life. You have time, you have skill, and you have money. In the beginning, you have a lot of time, which you can trade to gain the skill. Once you have the skill, you can trade that for the money. Once you have the money, you can either buy or rent the skill or buy or rent the time, which would be leverage. The second thing I learned early on that is so critical, that is a huge mistake agents make, is they do not document their conversations. So many agents overpromise, underdeliver. They have conversations with clients, they explain things to them, or the clients ask them to do things, but it doesn't get documented anywhere. And down the road, people will have selective memory. That could be agents, that could be clients, and then all of a sudden, you are in hot water because it is a game of he said or she said. One of the best tips I ever got in this business is after you're done a conversation, sit down and take some notes in that client's file, or better yet, send that client an email with a rundown of what you discussed. Here's what you said to me, here's the promises I made to you. I want to make sure it's documented so I could fulfill my obligations and my promises. I definitely think this is one of the most important things when you're getting into negotiations as well. So many people just want to pick up the phone and do a deal, and you can do that on like macro level stuff, right? Like if you're really trying to get to the finish line and all the T's and I's have gotten crossed, you do have to pick up the phone and know how to negotiate and get deals done. I can tell you without a doubt, one of the biggest mistakes people make is they do not document or take any notes. They are typically just falling forward, which ends up leading to a pile of problems. Number 3, don't wing it and stop making up contract clauses. You are not a lawyer. You do not play one on TV. So many agents think that because they have their real estate license and they can draft agreements of purchase and sales, they should be just coming up with clauses and giving clients legal advice. Our job is to be experts at the market, strategy, marketing, and negotiation. When it comes down to complex language in a legal contract, I see this on the commercial side all the time. Like advising clients on terms and conditions for long-form leases is the lawyer's job, not your job. As an expert, You can advise on things that you've seen based on your experience. Same goes for real estate agents when they're at home inspections. Like, real estate agents pretending they're home inspectors is one of the biggest issues in our industry. They say things they're not qualified to say, and they make representations about cracks in foundations, electrical panels, and things that they do not know to be true, as if they are licensed to actually give that advice. They are not. In the agreement of purchase and sale, the standard order document, it actually has a clause that says I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an accountant, I'm not an environmental auditor, and I go as far to tell my clients I'm not anything but a real estate agent, and I need to understand where that boundary is and tell my clients that the best thing for them is for me to partner them up with an absolute professional in that field. If it has to do with environmental remediation, an electrician, a plumber, I've spent over a decade building an incredible network of service providers that I have some leverage with and that are vetted. But at the same time, I think it's incredibly important for you to be transparent with this with your clients, because sometimes they think you do have all the answers. Which I guess brings me to my last point, which is misrepresentation. Imagine you walk into an open house and the house backs onto a field. One of the most common questions you're gonna ask that agent is, are they gonna develop anything behind this house? A blatant misrepresentation would be that agent telling you that, oh no, look at that farm field, it's gonna stay that way forever, without actually looking into who owns the property, if it is something that could be redeveloped, or making any type of representation that they are not qualified to make. So all these things I taught you in this video are by far the easiest way for an agent to implode their career in their first year, but throughout their entire career. If I missed any, jump in the comments and let me know, but hopefully you learned something from this video, and if you did, let me know what it was.